Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Mount Vernon City Council meeting for November 30th, 2022 to order. The time is now 6:02. It's a special time meeting tonight simply because of our council calendars. So welcome everyone who's here to join us. If you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, item C tonight is our roll call of council members, and we do have one council member joining us online. Okay.
Councilmember Beaton? Here. Councilmember Brocksmith?
Here.
Councilmember Correas?
Is excused tonight, sorry.
Councilmember Hudson? Councilmember Holst?
Here.
Councilmember Molinar?
Here.
Councilmember Morales?
Here.
All right, thank you. Under community comments tonight, item 1 is a review of emails from the public that were sent in specifically to the email community comments at mountvernon.gov. I'll ask staff if there were any comments received.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. There was one email sent to that address, and it was intended for Mount Vernon, New York. So I will be reading that one tonight.
All right, thank you very much for catching that. Item 2 is our public comments for anyone who may be with us in the audience tonight. If there's anyone that would like to speak, you're welcome to step to the podium at this time. And seeing none, we'll just go on with our agenda. Under consent agenda tonight, we have items A, B, C, and D. These are council meeting minutes, checks, wire transfers, direct deposits, claims, and an agreement 4308.
I'd move the adoption of the consent agenda.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Mark and a second by Gary. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries, thank you. Under reports tonight, under committee report, first up is Development Services Committee, and I believe we're going to postpone that committee. So if the clerk could make a note, we'll pick that up at our December 14th meeting. Thank you. Public Safety Committee report is by Councilmember Mark Holst. So Mark.
So good evening. The Mount Vernon Public Safety Committee meeting was held here on November 2nd in council chambers. We began our meeting at 6 o'clock. I believe the entire council was present at that meeting. It's going to be pretty short meetings or minutes. First off, we heard from our police chief, Chris Kamick. He brought us up to date on a hiring process. We're hiring a couple of police officers. They're lateral transfers from other departments, and they were in the process of finishing that up. I believe those are complete, and we'll probably hear something about that this evening from Chief Kamick. We also swore in our new park ranger on November 7th, and we have 2 integrated outreach service officers or staff that were sworn in, and Chief Kamick will introduce those to the public this evening when he gives his presentation. Then we went into budget discussions. That's always a fun time, and we had a healthy discussion on the budget, which was actually adopted a couple of weeks ago. So with that, we adjourned around 9 o'clock.
All right, thank you, Mark. Item B is our council member comments. Is there any council member comments this evening?
So, Mayor Bedrew, I would like to make a motion that we change our agenda slightly.
Okay.
I would like to move item C down 1 notch and move item D up 1 notch.
Sure. I don't think we have any problem with that.
Okay.
All right. Do we need a formal motion to amend the agenda? I guess we do. All right, so that's a motion.
Correct.
Second.
There's a second. Second by Melissa. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. All right, now you have to remind me if I pick
Okay.
that one up. So, all right. Any other council member comments? All right, moving on to mayor's report. I have a few slides to share. I think staff's going to pull it up. After the last few years of disruption, we're thrilled to have the downtown Christmas parade. Just to announce that, that's coming up this Sunday. So it's in our historic downtown area. It starts at 5 o'clock. There's some slides before that, Peter, I think, or there should be.
Did we get the wrong one here?
There we go. Thank you. So that's hosted by our downtown Mount Vernon Association. They do a fantastic job. It's always fun, family event. I hear there's a new entry of some decorated golf carts by our police volunteers. I think that's a thing. So we'll find out on Sunday. So at 5 o'clock downtown. Join us, please. And speaking of downtown and really all of our smaller family-owned businesses here in Mount Vernon, want to encourage everyone to think about shopping small this holiday season. Our small businesses provide local jobs and sales tax revenue, and the sales tax revenue goes to serve our services here with the city. And so we want to make sure that we encourage folks to spend locally. It tends to stay more local when you're spending at locally owned businesses. An example of organizations that advocate for those businesses is the Mount Vernon Chamber of Commerce and the Mount Vernon Downtown Association. So you can check out their websites for different types of events to promote our local community. So, also, snow and ice is now upon us, and you can find information about any types of plowing routes or the city's response on our website. The easiest way, I think, if you go to our website at mountvernon.gov, in the search bar, type in snow and it pops up. So you can look at this particular map that's showing on the slide here. It shows how our crews go out and take care of arterial streets first, and that's really to help our first responders with any response they might need. Then they move out to what's called feeder streets and then get to neighborhood streets. So it can take them a while to get through it to right in front of your house. But we want to make sure that folks know that we do have an amazing public works crew that is around the clock when is needed. They're out there working really hard. Some other questions we get when it comes to snow and ice does the city use sand? And yes, we use sand. It provides better friction, of course, when it's slippery out there. But one thing we have to be very mindful of is it can go into our storm system and have some ecological ramifications. And so we do use it very strategically, and it's not used on every single street. So we want to point that out. Salt is also a question. Salt does melt snow, but salt water also freezes at 28 degrees. So we're very careful on when we want to use that, because we certainly don't want to create a skating rink when there isn't one out there. So that's important. But thank you all to our public works crews who are going to be working through this winter, but also a reminder to all of us, and we could probably all say it together, we need to drive slow and safe and take our time when things are snow and icy. And lastly, just wanted to recognize something that occurred just, I think, 2 days ago or a day ago, just recently. A couple of our officers were surprised with an award by the Mount Vernon School District. And this is Superintendent Dr. Vivanco awarded officers Chris Carlson and Mike McGilvery for their monthly Bulldog Award. And this is awarded to staff who demonstrate exceptional ability and work with students. They were nominated by a staff member, and so Officer Carlson is our high school neighborhood resource officer, so he's at our high school campus quite frequently. One of the most recent, I think, honorable acts is a recent swatting event where there was a false call into 911 saying that there had been a significant incident at the high school. And Officer Carlson was there to be on the phone quickly to assure and look around and see if there was anything really happening. That was part of a response there. Our Officer McGilvray, he's our middle school school resource officer. And a thing that he had just recently done, he has a creative writing class for students. And he developed a Little Libraries program, the first of 3 of those located in Colshan Creek neighborhood on 15th Street and at Children of the Valley. So officers do a lot more than people may understand, and they were honored with the Bulldog Award by the school district, and we're proud of them. And just regarding the recent swatting event, it's something that you may have seen in the news. It affected not only our high school, but several other high schools in the region, including Whatcom County. And I wanted to commend that our police employees for their judgment, but also their training. So you can imagine when a call first appears on a 911 screen that there could be a mass incident at the high school. It can cause an instant reaction amongst any of us. Our officers noticed that only one call came into 911. You can imagine if there was an incident, there'd be multiple, if not even hundreds of calls into 911, and that made them stop for a minute and want to assess. But while officers staged, others started working to confirm as our press release that went out stated. Other staff use their smarts, their training, their intuition, and logic before reacting. And so I want to just acknowledge our officers for an incredible job that they've done, and we're blessed to have a very professional and highly trained department, because a more aggressive response could have resulted in a very different outcome. So Chief is standing in the back, so hopefully our officers can hear that and know that from the mayor's office, and I'm sure the city council support as well. All right, moving on, from mayor's report, item D is committee agenda requests. Is there any committee agenda requests from council tonight? All right, there is no unfinished business, so we'll move right into our agenda. Item 1 is a positive item. Looking forward to this. It is a Citizen Recognition Award. I want to introduce our Police Chief, Chris Kamick, who's going to come to the podium. Also, Officer John Girondale, who's here as well. And I'll just turn the floor over to them.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. About 3 decades ago, we were working with the North 26th Street neighborhood on a pretty frequent basis. And at that time, the complexion of that neighborhood was much different as it relates to crime and disorder issues than it is today. At the time, the calls for service and the types of service calls that we were getting were disproportionate to really neighborhoods of similar kind of makeup. And as an organization, we needed a different approach to policing that area. So strategically, we placed a neighborhood station there in partnership with Mount Vernon School District on site there to create a permanence of presence, if you will. And we also established a neighborhood resource officer function. John Girondale is one of the neighborhood resource officers who served the longest term in Colshan Creek that was there. And the intention there was to work with residents and deliver services that were consistent with that community's needs, versus in other cases where we're having to, be more generalized across neighborhoods, if you will. But that was only really one half of the equation. The bigger part of that equation was resident involvement and resident buy-in, especially if we were going to have long-term lasting results like we are seeing today in the community. The other thing unique about Colshan is it's predominantly multifamily that's there. So a real key partner in that are the owners of those properties, but really more importantly, the property managers. They're very instrumental in the interaction with the community that's there, with the police department. And tonight, we are both very pleased to introduce to you two of the property managers, Robin Stewart and Max Moreno. And John and I weren't aware till a couple of minutes ago, because Edgar, who's not here, he orchestrated some of this, and we didn't know it was a surprise. So, boom, surprise. Anyway, they have been property managers up in Colshan Creek for 30 years, and both are retiring December 31st. And I'm going to let John speak a little bit more directly about some of the things that he worked with them on. But I just want you all to know from our perspective that we couldn't have accomplished the results that we have with the programming and the street fairs and all the things that we did without their involvement and partnership. And I was talking with Mr. Moreno outside. I am near positive that he and his family were at the neighborhood station groundbreaking, and I believe he cut the ribbon on the neighborhood station. So that's how far back this goes. So I'm going to let John say a couple things. How about you talk first?
Yeah, I worked with Max and Robin for 11 years on a daily basis, and just the compassion they showed and the empathy and just truly cared about the neighborhood. I mean, it was awesome. We couldn't have accomplished the things we did in that neighborhood without your help. We had a bunch of crazy things we worked on. Street fairs, parking ordinances, having like weekly, monthly cleanups with the kids. And you guys hosted Christmas parties and movie nights and all these different activities that you wouldn't think a police officer and property manager would do, but they were instrumental in. And really, if you look at the stats, it's ridiculous how much crime dropped in just the time we've had the neighborhood station there. And a lot of those results wouldn't have happened without Max and Robin's support. I mean, Cascade West is the largest complex in the city, apartment complex in the city. And it was crucial that we had buy-in from them. And they went so far above and beyond what a typical property manager does. It's been awesome. It was awesome to work with them. I mean, I really miss working with them. And I was so honored to be able to come here tonight and talk about the relationship we had. And it's sad that's ending, but, you know, congratulations and thanks for all your assistance.
So if it's okay with you, Mayor, maybe I could have you come down and we'll present them with some plaques. And if Robin and Max could come up, and your families are welcome to join you.
And I occasionally got to talk to Robin as a CSO, so it's really awesome to be here tonight to honor you in this. If your family wants to come this way. So we have a plaque that we wanted to present to you. It's an appreciation of your years of dedicated and consistent service to the Colson Creek neighborhood and the citizens of Mount Vernon. So congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
Basketball tournaments, and my son was really involved in it also.
Why don't we get a picture if you don't mind, and if John and
And
Chris could
real
come
quick,
in?
on behalf of the Mount Vernon Police Services Guild, we want to get you a gift card for dinner
Oh, thank
for you and your family. You spent so many hours after work helping us out. Hopefully,
Yeah,
you
we have
make
a
up for some
movie
of it.
night next week, so.
All right.
Why don't we scooch forward and then Candy will take a picture of us? Is that
Okay.
okay? All right. Over here, kiddos.
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 Right here. 3, 2, 1.
Perfect. All right, thank you so much, Mom.
Right. Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
All right, Max.
That's me. Nice to meet you.
Nice. Great. Max gets a gift card for dinner too, I guess. So this is again presented to Max Moreno in appreciation of your years of dedicated and consistent service to the Colson Creek neighborhood and the citizens of Mount Vernon. Thank you so much.
Just to put it into perspective, when I got there at 90, we started renting, and most of them were the families then. And then after we started renting to their kids. They didn't want to live, but they wanted to stay because they knew the property. And now we're renting to the grandkids.
You
That's how
created
long.
quite a legacy of community there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we move on, if you don't mind, maybe one more round of applause for amazing citizens. Who truly made our community better and more special and more safe and more enjoyable. So thank you. All right, moving on is another positive item, and that's item B, which is the approval of the appointments to the Mount Vernon Arts Commission. So I'm going to ask Jennifer Berner, the director of the Mount Vernon Parks and Enrichment Services Department, to come forward, and we will do this item as well.
I have quite a few agenda items here this evening, and I had them all in order and just dropped my folder, so excuse me. So, yes, a positive thing here this evening. Staff requests council to approve the reappointment of three of our arts commissioners, Linda Brookings, Vanessa Good, and Damon Morris. We have two of those folks here this evening. We have Damon and Vanessa in the audience that can come up and be sworn in. Linda Brookings was not able to make it this evening, so we'll swear her in at an additional time, of course, pending council's approval.
All right. So this would require a motion from council for reappointment of Linda Brookings, Vanessa Good, Damon Morris to the Mount Vernon Arts Commission.
I'd move that council ratify the mayor's appointment of Linda Brookings, Vanessa Good, and Damon Morris to the Mount Vernon Arts Commission.
Second the motion.
Thank you. A motion by Mark and a second by Juan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. And we'd love to make this official, so we'll ask Damon and Vanessa to come forward. All right, let's see. How about well, should we do it together? Sure. Okay, all right.
If you want to raise your right hand, if you would repeat after me. I, and then state your individual names.
I, Damon Morris,
I, Vanessa Good, do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the state of Washington,
of the state of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge
perform and discharge
the duties of Mount Vernon Arts Commission member.
the duties of Mount Vernon Arts Commission member
Good, you did it. Good, partners. For the city of Mount Vernon,
for the city of Mount Vernon,
in and for the county of Skagit,
in and for the county of Skagit,
state of Washington,
state of Washington,
according to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability and understanding.
to the best of my ability and understanding.
Congratulations and thank you again for this. One is for you to take, and then one will be.
We absolutely appreciate those willing to serve, so to have them want to continue to serve is even a better item, so thank you so much. All right, moving on, we're gonna get this order right. So item D, we're gonna skip over one. It's the approval of an agreement with Skagit Valley Family YMCA. So Jennifer, sorry to throw you. We're gonna do item D first.
Item D first,
Yep.
yes. So, this is one that we've been working on for a while, and so happy that we've been able to come to a great resolution, and I think a great thing for our community for us to support and get behind. So I appreciate council's ability to work with this, and the city and our YMCA to just kind of come together and figure out what's the best way forward. So with that, in 2017, the city and Skagit Valley Family YMCA entered into a recreational and facility lease agreement and agreement for services. Due to difficulties coordinating use of service, the city and the YMCA mutually agreed to suspend the performance of the recreational facility lease agreement and identified a new partnership supporting their youth homeless shelter, the Oasis Teen Center. And the Oasis Teen Shelter, that is located in Mount Vernon, provides youth a place to spend the night every day of the year. And so this is, just something huge for our community to be able to have this in our community and support our youth who are in a stressful situation, and be able to have this in our community and support it is wonderful. The term of the agreement is from January 1, 2023, through December 31st of 2030. The payment for the work provided by the YMCA shall be to reimburse actual operational costs for running of the Oasis Teen Shelter up to $50,000 per calendar year over 8 years for a total of $400,000. An annual report summarizing the Oasis Teen Shelter's program statistics and budget will be provided to council on a yearly basis. So with that, staff is requesting approval for the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Skagit Valley YMCA in support for their Oasis Teen Shelter for homeless youth.
All right, I also wanted to recognize Dean Snyder, who's in the
Yes.
audience, who's our chief executive of the YMCA, and Kat Lohman And I'm not sure what Kat's title is, but she's an amazing person and does so much grant writing and helps out with the Oasis Teen Shelter. So thanks for being here, both Dean and Kat. Any questions from council on this particular item?
I would just state that I know that staff, the city attorney, has worked closely with YMCA to come up with this agreement. Council was very involved in this. I know the council felt an obligation to fulfill its commitment that was made by a previous council. I think that was pretty universally accepted from the council, and I'm happy that we're able to help the Oasis Teen Center and fulfill that commitment. So thank you to staff, thank you to the YMCA, and thank you to our city attorney for being able to work through the hoops and actually bring this to us this evening.
Any other comments? Melissa?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I can't get the grin off my face. I think that this is such an invaluable service that we are providing the children, the most neediest children in our community. And just to take a step back, I look at the agenda and it's just a real good, feel-good evening. And so with that, I don't know if Richard wanted to.
I do, but go ahead.
Well, I was just going to go ahead and make a motion that council
Yeah.
authorize the mayor to enter into this agreement with this YMCA.
Okay.
And I'd like to second that.
All right.
I don't personally feel the same obligation from the previous 10-year contract, or the current one that we're going to entertain in our next agenda item. But I do know the value of this organization and its importance to our community. And there are some other shelters in the city that I think we should take an equitable look at as well. But after reviewing the language, super comfortable with this and excited for the partnership. So thank you to the YMCA.
All right. There is a motion and a second. Any other comment, Bill? All right. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Going then to item C, which is the approval of an agreement of termination of an agreement with the Skagit Valley Family YMCA. So I'm going to ask Jennifer to introduce this item.
Absolutely. So just following up with being able to terminate this agreement was what was enabled us to be able to move forward with enacting the agreement we just enacted. And so in 2017, again, the city entered into the recreational facility lease agreement. The city agreed to pay the YMCA $500,000 over 10 years for an exchange of services. In August of 2019, the city was to paid the YMCA $100,000 that was to be used for exchange of services in 2019 and 2020. In 2019, the city received a total of $44,688 worth of services, leaving a balance of $5,312 worth of services that were due to the city. In 2020, the YMCA was closed due to COVID, like all of us, and leaving a balance of $55,312 worth of services that were still due to the city from that initial $100,000 that was gifted to them in 2017. So the city and the YMCA started conversations, and we agreed to provide the city with YMCA memberships that the city could distribute to some of our lower income folks that are in need in place of the $55,000 that was due in services back to us. And so that was something that we discussed here at council, and council members agreed that that was a good way to come up with a balancing out for that initial $100,000. So with a lot of different discussions, both parties agreed to terminate the initial agreement and explore other partnership opportunities, which is what we came up with was supporting the Teen Oasis Shelter, which I think is something that really meets our city's goals and our city's needs in a way that we as a city don't have that way of providing through city services alone. So staff recommends council terminate the 2017 Skagit Valley YMCA recreational facility lease agreement and accept the YMCA membership gift certificates to balance the services that are due to the city.
All right, questions for Jennifer on this? All right.
So as much as we like the YMCA, we currently are on the hook for $100,000 a year, which we don't have in our budget. So I would make a motion that we terminate the original agreement with the YMCA.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Mark and a second by Melissa. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you also to Jennifer for really working on that and all the details that happened to go into that, and also Dean and his staff for working together to arrive on our agreements tonight. So, all right. Item E tonight is the introduction of our integrated outreach staff with our police departments. So I'm going to again invite Police Chief Chris Kamick to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. History, if you will, was made 7 years ago, when the vision and idea for placing embedded social workers within a police agency occurred. And the credit really goes to leadership that was, I think, sitting here, a lot of you that were sitting here, as well as some former colleagues of mine who have since retired, who saw that vision and that need, and it was only reinforced by our own Erin Von Femp through the work that she's done. And so really tonight is more of a milestone in a history than anything else. And as you know, over the last year and a half, we've been talking about how the complexion of the community has changed, society's expectations around police have changed, and certainly how we respond to certain calls for service that tend to have more of a behavioral health root to them than necessarily criminal intent. And we've talked about that a lot over the years, or over this last year and a half, and we're now at a point in time where we can actually introduce to you some physical faces and bodies and people who will carry out the work that we are projecting to be able to do. So our plan is to advance the organization in the area of behavioral health, to be able to provide that component within the police department through our integrated outreach services function. We have the first 2 staff who will fill that here tonight, James Kemmer and Mike Outson, that are with us, and I'm going to invite them to come forward in a minute. This is also unique for the police department. As you saw a minute ago, the mayor swore in some individuals that have authority in their position, and within the police agency we have commissioned position and non-commissioned positions that require that authorization. But I think these 2 positions are unique in that there's an oath responsibility here, because the social work profession has its own set of professional values and codes of ethics, just like police officers in the police agencies do. And so these are 2 different professions, if you will, that we're now blending in. And I think it's only right and appropriate to recognize that, even though their oath, if you will, is voluntary. But it's a solemn promise to adhere to those values and codes of ethics as they go to work in this new direction. So I'm going to ask the mayor if she wouldn't mind coming forward, and we've created an oath of honor, and have her just deliver those. And I would ask Mike and James to come forward, and their families are back there, and take that oath.
Thank you for being here tonight to be recognized by our city council, but also to make a statement in front of our entire community, so I appreciate that. So what I think I'll do is I'm going to read the first little part of this, and then I'll read something and ask you to repeat it, and I'll go slow, so it'll be fine, all right? So this is the Mount Vernon Police Department Integrated Outreach Services Oath of Honor. The primary mission of the social work profession is to enhance human well-being and help meet the basic human needs of all people, with particular attention to the needs and empowerment of people who are vulnerable, oppressed,
and living in poverty. The primary mission of law enforcement is to protect life and property, maintain order, promote public safety, and generally provide service to citizens that delivers a feeling of safety, security, and productive quality of life. Therefore, I'll ask you to repeat. As a social worker professional,
As a social worker professional,
I know that my primary goal is to help people in need
I know that my primary goal is to help people in need
and address social problems.
and address social problems.
As a social worker in law enforcement,
As a social worker in law enforcement,
I will support their mission and beliefs
I will support their mission and beliefs
that protect life, property,
that protect life and property
and promotes public safety.
and promotes public safety.
I will respect the inherent dignity
I will respect the inherent dignity
and worth of the person.
and worth of the person.
I recognize the central importance
I recognize the central importance
of human relationships.
of human relationships.
I will challenge social injustice.
I will challenge social injustice.
I will behave in a trustworthy manner.
I will behave in a trustworthy manner.
I will conduct myself
I will conduct myself
and perform my duties with competence
and perform my duties with competence
and continue to develop
and continue to develop
and enhance my professional expertise.
and enhance my professional expertise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
And I'm going to provide you each a challenge coin, which on the back of it has the law enforcement oath of honor on there as well. So congratulations and
Thank you.
welcome aboard.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think one more round of acknowledgement. I think I share my excitement and pride from our council, as well as being one of the only agencies that has taken this step to this level. And we're doing this because we don't believe we're providing enough service from higher levels of government above us, and we're hoping to change that. But we couldn't wait, and we needed to really serve our community. So thank you to our police department for that leadership as well. All right. Item F tonight is the approval of a street closure request for the Mount Vernon Downtown Association. Jennifer Berner's here. Jennifer.
More good news. So, as the mayor alluded to in her opening comments, the Mount Vernon Downtown Association is preparing for the annual holiday parade, which will happen this weekend, Sunday, December 4th, along Cleveland Avenue, south to First Street, starting at Broadway and ending at Montgomery. And they're also requesting some of the side streets to be closed as well for public safety reasons. Cleveland Avenue will be closed beginning Sunday, December 4th at 3:30 p.m., with parking closed at 1:30 p.m. and reopening upon conclusion of the parade, which should be around 6:30 p.m. So staff is recommending the approval of the street closure request for the 2022 Mount Vernon Christmas Holiday Parade.
All right, questions for Jennifer on this?
Make a motion. Love this time of year, and sounds like there might even be snow that night.
Absolutely.
Right.
I'll
We
second the
can-
motion.
Motion by Gary and a second by Juan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, next up, item G is the approval of an agreement with Western Display Fireworks Limited, and this is Jennifer's item as well. Jennifer.
So I know it seems a little early, but we've got to start planning at least 6 months out. And so here we are with 4th of July planning. So with that, Western Display Fireworks, who has supplied the city with fireworks on the 4th of July for many years, again has their proposal for the 2023 fireworks. And With that, the total show this year is $16,500. Last year it was $15,000, so it's only up $500, which is fairly good with inflation and things that are going on. So we did get fully funded for this through the lodging tax, so lodging tax will be picking up the bill for this particular funding of the fireworks. The 4th of July event for 2023 will consist of a fireworks display only again. We're not going to be doing any things leading up to it. We found that the community has really responded to just coming out to the fireworks display. So staff is recommending council approve the mayor to enter into an agreement with Western Display Fireworks for the purpose of providing fireworks show for an Independence Day in July 4th, 2023.
All right, any questions for Jennifer on this? I feel like we're getting an early bird discount. Maybe that's why I didn't go out so much, but.
I would move the approval of the agreement with Western Fireworks Display.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We think we want fireworks. Okay.
No, I'm afraid we're gonna get into a discussion
Well,
about
anybody else wanna
alternatives
enter
to
into
the
that?
real thing,
What
so
about digital?
before you.
Okay. We'll get to that at some point. All right, so a motion by Mark and a second by Gary. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer.
And
for that.
Melissa, we have not forgotten about that.
Thank you.
So it just needs further exploration.
I get it.
You gotta have the smell too. So if you're gonna do these fake fireworks, you gotta at least have the smell to go with it.
All right, thank you. Item H tonight is an approval agreement with the City of Burlington, and Kim Kleppe, our Information Services Director, is here for this item. Kim, come up.
Can relax, take my time, this will be my last stage. Oh, just for that. So this first agreement with the City of Burlington, last time we renewed this agreement was in October of 2017. This agreement allows us to provide fiber optic services to the city in helping installing fiber or pole transfers, or splicing fiber, connecting some of the customers. With this, we did a reevaluation because it's been 5 years since we last agreement to raise the rates in the back, especially with the rates of costs have gone up. So with this agreement here, the rates have gone up about 25% approximately. And so I'm asking for your consideration and approval of this agreement with the City of Burlington.
All right, any questions for Kim on this?
I don't have any questions, but retiring at the end of the year, is that what you're thinking?
Well,
Right.
We do have one more council meeting, so
Well, he
I'm
said it
not
was his
sure-
last one.
I know, but I'm
I just-
wondering if you.
I just wanted to give him props for his service to the city for these many, many years. So thank
37
you for
plus
that.
years.
Yeah, wow.
Mhm.
That's
Getting old.
pretty impressive. So with that, I'll make a motion that council authorize the mayor to enter into this agreement with the City of Burlington for fiber optic services.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Motion by Melissa and a second by Juan. Go ahead.
Just
Richard,
a, just a general information question. So, we have increased the reimbursement rate or the hourly here, and that was an assessment to see if we're recouping the fully loaded cost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and it's by job basis to let you know. So when they request something, Mount Vernon comes first with what we have to take care of, and we get to them when we can, and if we're able to. And it's worked out well from that standpoint.
That's great. Thank you.
Positive relationship with the city.
Okay. Any other questions? Did we vote on that?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay. Motion. Oh, go ahead, Mary. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Mary.
I'll work on that. His last day. His last day is
the next day.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Good job, Kim. Yeah.
Item I.
Talking to heaven.
Did we vote now?
No.
Why can't
No,
I
not
vote?
yet.
We had a
Okay.
first and a second.
There was a motion by
Me.
Melissa, and a second by Juan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. And we have one more item. This is the approval of agreement with Skagit County. And again, Kim, go ahead.
Again, I'm asking for the consideration of adopting this with the county. It's identical agreement with Burlington, same rates increase. Last time we did the agreement with Burlington was February of 2020. In the cycle with the county, I do 2-year agreements on this, provide services. Do they have much for us to do? No, a couple times a year maybe. We replace their old fiber with a newer fiber, for example. So I'm asking your consideration on an agreement with Skagit County for fiber optic services.
All right. Questions for Kim on this item?
I'd authorize the mayor to renew an agreement with Skagit County for fiber optic services.
All right. Thank you.
Second?
Motion by Gary and a second by Mark. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim, now you have to stand here for a minute. So Kim, what people may not know, and even if some of the council members aren't really sure, but Kim's service to the city has been 37 years.
In 2 months.
I believe, started in the wastewater treatment plant.
Yep.
And then he moved into information services. And throughout that entire time, he's brought the city forward with information services, working with our now former mayor, Sky Reichendeifer, to integrate our city into a fiber optic network. 25 years ago, I mean, it was late 1990s, early 2000s. So our city was well positioned for our future because of Kim and his forethought, and then the support of Mayor Reichendeifer. So there's a lot that goes into what Kim has done, and led that department and built that department. And so we do want to recognize Kim in case we don't make him come back on the 14th. But, just to let council know about his service and the distinguished part of his service. He is still on call, though, theoretically, through January. So he will be helping us out if we need him. So
Yes.
All right. So thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Jill.
All right.
Thanks, Kim.
Yep.
Item J tonight is the election of a mayor pro tem for 2023, and Kevin Rogerson, our city attorney, is here for this.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. Before I begin, I just want to say to Kim Kleppe, it's always been a pleasure as a city attorney and a lawyer to talk to a man who knows fiber. It's like a Martian talking to a Klingon about how you form a contract to sell services. I'm a liberal arts major, and this gentleman taught me a lot about tech that I never wanted to know but had to know. So I appreciate the time. It's that time of year again for this esteemed legislative body to elect from its members a mayor pro tem who shall hold the office at the pleasure of the council in the case of absence, death, or disability of the mayor, as required by ordinance. After each general municipal election and thereafter, whenever a vacancy occurs, the city council must elect from among their number a mayor pro tem. A mayor pro tem has the powers of the mayor, except a power to appoint or remove any officer or to veto any ordinance is not a power vested in the mayor pro tem. And the mayor pro tem also sits as a council member during the body, so they vote as well as run the meeting. So it's at this point I will leave it up to this legislative body to determine who shall be mayor pro tem
Okay.
for 2023.
Thank you, Kevin. I also want to thank Councilmember Gary Molnar for stepping in this last year. I think he had more work than other mayor pro tems. And knowing it'll be a short timer next year, whoever's nominated might have some work too. So with that,
Vacation, Joe.
with that, I'll call for any nominations from the city council members for a mayor pro tem.
Well, I'll go ahead and I would be delighted to nominate my esteemed colleague on the left, Mark Holst. He is very well qualified for the job.
All right. Nomination is Mark Holst. And we ask for three nominations. Any other nominations from this body? And any other nominations? All right. Holst has been nominated as mayor pro tem for the year 2023. Let's see, 2024. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you. Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Mark.
council.
Appreciate you stepping up. All right. Item K tonight is an approval of an agreement with Michael T. Larson. Jennifer Berner has got one more tonight, so Jennifer.
We will round it out here this evening with, this is to amend the Bonnie Ray House lease agreement. So upon review of the rental property rates, and Mount Vernon, staff is recommending the rate be increased by $100 per month for 2023. The current rental rate is $1,800 a month and has remained the same over the past 3 years. Upon careful evaluation, it was determined that the monthly rental rate should be set at $2,700 with $800 deducted for caretaker duties. They do perform caretaker duties out there, as was shown in the map that was attached there. They do mowing of the lawn. They make sure, and it's a fairly extensive area out there in front of and behind the house of Bonnie Ray. They also perform other maintenance duties such as weeding the flower beds, weed eating, and including the ditch lines there and removal of the debris in the ditch lines, pruning the shrubs, leaf removal, and storm cleanup. So those are what equal out to about that $800 per month, what they perform in maintenance duties. Staff is requesting council to authorize the mayor to increase the monthly rate for the Bonnie Ray rental property located at 2601 South LaVenture Road to $1,900 a month.
Any questions for Jennifer on this item?
Maybe just to confirm, it's a 12-month lease?
Correct.
We'd have this discussion again next year?
Correct. We look at it every year.
And it, if I heard you correctly, it's 2,700?
That's what
And
it
then
is,
you
and then
take
we
800
take the
off.
100 off, 800 off,
Gotcha.
yes.
So I would move the adoption of the agreement with Michael T. Larson for the Bonnie Ray Park rental agreement.
All right.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Mark and a second by Melissa. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. That concludes our agenda items for this evening. I would like to invite the council into a short executive session tonight, and I'm going to ask our city attorney to explain why we would do that.
Thank you, Mayor. I invite the city council to enter into an executive session to discuss legal counsel, enforcement action, litigation, or potential litigation to which the city, the governing body, or a member acting in an official capacity is or is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding such discussion is likely to result in either adverse legal or adverse financial consequence to the city pursuant to RCW 4230-110 subsection 1I. It would be 10 minutes. We would reconvene at
7:05?
7:05 with no final action after.
All right, thank you. With that, we'll be adjourned at 6:54. Councilmember Hudson, if you want to stay online, you can join us.